Hello and welcome back to the X-Files Revisited. We are moving on with season 6. This is episode 15 called Arcadia. Will this be better than Monday? I hope so.
On the subject of Monday, actually. So as we do at the start of every episode, we do our IMDb ranking guesswork. And last week, Monday sat at 23. And I'd noticed on the list that there'd been a whole rejigging. Turns out I'd got the wrong list. So when I went and checked the list this week, everything was back to how it was previously, and I realised I'd actually, rather than going through to the IMDb ranking, I'd gone through to just some fanboy's own personal ranking.
Okay, well done, Brian.
So you'll be pleased to know it's not at number 23. However, you may not be so pleased to know it's actually 10 places higher at number 13.
Oh, don't. I mean, I almost swore. Almost, Brian.
So yeah, Monday, the episode you really weren't that keen on last week. You didn't hate it, but it was just like, yeah, whatever. Kind of average, I would say, for you. But I really liked it. But would I put it at number 13 of all time? Hell no. It might crack my top 50, but number 13, hell no.
I mean, I was in complete disbelief with 23. So
yeah, I found it. I had to bring that up because I saw it today. I realised what I'd done, and I could have just let it slide and forget about it. But actually, given the fact that it went 10 places higher, that just cracks me up. So I had to admit my fault. Okay, so we're not talking Monday on this one. We're talking Arcadia. Question is, where do you think it ranks on IMDb's ranking of the 217 episodes?
I don't know anymore, Brian.
It's all gone a bit Pete-tong, hasn't it?
Yeah, this season is just wild. 41.
Oh! So close. 42.
Wow.
42, yeah.
Well, to be honest, I was doing a lot of calculations there. I absolutely didn't just pull that number out of nowhere. I was like, a lot of thought put into that.
Yeah, out of farce. Right. Okay, then. Let's get into it. So we open up on Dave arriving home to his gated community to find what at the time sounded like, when he said his name, Smolder. Every time someone says this dude's name throughout the episode, I get a different name. It's like Smolder, Shoulder, and then there's something else. So yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, Smolder at this point, I think it is painting his mailbox. Not his own mailbox, but Dave's mailbox. It's like, dude, what the hell? So he goes in and he rants to his wife about Dave. About Smolder. Just like, this guy's an absolute freak. Everyone around here, they're following the rules. Oh, yeah. So he alludes to the fact that because in this gated community, it comes with its own set of rules that each kind of member of the community has to follow. And so he goes on a rant about that. And then he gets a package. He opens a package, and it's this little ornament of a woodcutter cutting wood. And you just know it's precisely the thing that would piss off the neighbours.
Oh yeah.
So what did he do? He puts it up. And for his trouble of putting it up, he gets a visitor at night that looks like Swamp Thing, quite frankly, that just comes in and, presumably kills him to death. because
Yeah.
we don't
Kills him to
necessarily
death. Well said.
kills him to death. Kills him to death. And we don't see it really, but we just see like a mass of blood, arterial spray hit the walls, and it's just that is a man who has been killed to death.
To death. Yep.
Yeah. Thoughts on the opening?
Do you know what? It's something comforting about the formulaic aspect of this one. Like, even in this little bit at the start, you get a couple of characters that you just don't like. Like, I kind of don't like the guy who's painting his mailbox because it's not his job. I don't like the other guy because he's just easy to anger about this. So, and then you get the kind of big swamp thingy monster that's going to be the catalyst of this episode. And you kind of know how this one's going to play out almost for the start. Like, you know, you're not going to be really surprised by it. And to be honest, after a lot of gimmicky episodes or the couple of mythology episodes that we had that were really kind of deep mythology, it feels somewhat nice to have just like a good old-fashioned monster of the week episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it does come with it a certain sense of gimmick, but one that I enjoy, one that I'm actually surprised we not got much sooner, which is the Petries arriving to their new home. The Petries, in fact, being Mulder and Scully, who are on undercover assignment to try and find out where these people who used to live at this home have gone, because apparently there's been a few people in this community who've just suddenly done a disappearing act, midnight flight, never to be seen again. So yeah, that's the gimmick really, is Mulder and Scully are going to pretend to be husband and wife. And of course, there is much humour to be mined from that kind of situation. The question is, do they do a good job of mining it? So the Petries arrive to their new home, and there's a bit of a party waiting for them. There's this woman there, and she's kind of like, oh, you won't make the 6 p.m. cut off.
Yeah.
And already she just annoys the crap out of me. So Mulder puts his arm around Scully, acting all husbandly, and the neighbours start emptying their van. So they literally all just rock up like, we'll help you move in, neighbours, like whether they want them to or not. There's a big guy there who kind of drops all the china, supposedly, as it's labelled on the box. And that's when Shoulder insists that a basketball net or basketball hoop is not aesthetically pleasing and therefore would be better off in the garage.
Yep. Yes, it's a fun little sequence. I like this because you get to meet all the neighbours, really. And there's that kind of almost stepward wife feeling about this community. You know, it's a community, but it's just not quite right. There's a little bit too much forced cheeriness and an underlying nervousness about it. I think is it Abraham Ben Ruby, I think is the big guy.
He was in like any show on TV that you were watching around this time. Guarantee he'd pop up in it at some point. Obviously,
I'm sure
most
he
well
was
known for ER, but
not in my household, Brian. I'm pretty sure this is the guy from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, which is an old TV sitcom thing.
Right, I don't know that one. I know he's in Open Range as well, the Kevin Costner Western, which I really like. But yeah, he was just one of those character actors that around the mid 90s to early noughties, he just seemed to pop up everywhere. Like if there was a big American show, guarantee at some point he'd be a guest spot on it. But he was always like, he was a regular on ER. He was like one of those characters that was just there all the time. And they kind of kept beefing his part up a bit. He never became like one of the full-on, he wasn't George Clooney of ER fame, or anything like that. He wasn't Goran Vishnik of ER fame, but he was certainly a presence in that show. But yeah, then he just loads of little things here and there he'd always pop up in. But yeah, I kind of like this guy. But so they go into the house, and this is where Scully Basil expositions the crap out of everything on camera. Because she's holding up this little camera, she's filming, and it's literally just an excuse for her to Basil exposition everything and film us.
It's great. It's great exposition. Look, of all the way they can do it, it feels redundant and kind of entertaining at the same time.
It's definitely entertaining. It's definitely redundant, but in the context of Mulder and Scully themselves, totally pointless. They know why they're there.
Yes.
And it's like, they've been sent on this case. She doesn't need to fill anyone in on the camcorder. It's like, this is clearly going to be marked as evidence in case X0 whatever. And the report of what that case was about will either already have been started before they even came here. But yeah, either way, it's an aside. It helps us to not have to have a scene back at the FBI and then have them come in. We can just get straight into this gated community. She does a little Basil exposition thing, and it's like, okay, we get it. We know why they're here. Mm-hmm. Even though it's pretty much obvious why they're here. But
they also do this thing when they come in the house where they kind of lay out the land. So Mulder's going to be cracking jokes about him, Scully being the wife. I should have carried you over the door. Let's get into this. Let's do it and stuff like that. And it's all these kind of silly jokes. And you can kind of tell that Mulder's not taking this job particularly seriously. He's kind of laughing and joking about it. It's not until later on where he's like, this is an X-File. But just now he's like, this is kind of pedestrian for him. And Scully's just kind of
this is literally just like next level up from doing background checks for Mulder. It's just until he can clearly see that there's a monster kind of situation going on, then he's like, But
you can see it all the way through the episode. He's bored. Like, he's antagonizing people for something to do. Like, he really is starting to just.
Oh, it's fun. But I love all the little husband and wife jokes that Mulder makes. He's really into it. You can tell he's like, oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun with this. And Scully's just like, get your hand off my shoulder, get your hand off my shoulder. Can tell she's just not comfortable with this at all. And there's a really nice little gag when they're in the kitchen talking, and Scully says she's going to go off and do something. He's like, woman, get in here and make me a sandwich. I just found hilarious. It's kind of holding a mirror up as well to the stereotypes of what husband and wife kind of should be, and in so doing, kind of calling out what BS it is. So,
But I kind of like this side of Mulder as well, because it just shows you, like, if there's nothing to attach his laser focus onto, he just goofs around. He's either at home watching porn or just messing with people, because I feel that's like what he does when he's not on an X-File case. And it feels for a lot of this one, he's just winding people up, like Scully, neighbours, whomever, just entertain himself.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes it fun to watch. So Mike, who's the big guy, returns with some plates and dishes, and Mulder finds some blood up on the ceiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise about this sequence is he doesn't taste it. That's all.
Yeah. It's definitely blood. If he had tasted it, he'd have found out pretty quick that it wasn't blood. So we see a dinner party. Well, not party so much as dinner guests at Mr. Gogolek's house. So Mr. Gogolek apparently is the guy who kind of runs this gated community. He's the one who's most primarily in charge. Mike wants to tell the Petries the truth. And you instantly know from the look on this guy's face that Mike is not going to be around for much longer. This kind of reminds me of, the season 2 episode Our Town with all the cannibals in the town. If you remember, there was that chicken plant.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was the guy who owned the chicken plant that was kind of running things, and they had all this like African kind of, or tribal, like, that's where the idea came from to be cannibals and stuff. And this kind of reminds me of that. This is Our Town if it was set in suburbia. Like, Our Town was your kind of like out in the sticks, southern kind of stereotype kind of, more your Bible Belt kind of thing. This is your American Beauty version of that episode, I think. So, obviously, given the looks we just saw from everyone, Mike is indeed killed. But is he killed to death? That's the question. Mike is killed over a light bulb. We see, that the street is like, it's a bit like Edward Scissorhands. I think of the opening of Edward Scissorhands when everyone's coming out on cue, like all the cars come out at the same time. Everyone comes out mowing the lawns at the same time. They all have the same light bulb kind of light on the front of the house. Well, his, 1 minute it's on and the next minute it's not on. And we know that Mike is going to be in trouble as a result of this. He comes running out, he spots it, he comes running out, he tries to change it, put it back in, but he's a bit too late. Some kind of monster thing comes up out the ground and basically Doomsday attacks him. You see all that blood again everywhere. So, Shoulder, I'm still calling him Shoulder at this point, fobs off Mulder and Scully as he cleans the blood. So it's morning. He's just there randomly hosing down his neighbour's porch, taking liberties as he does. And Mulder and Scully, like, they want to see Mike, and he's like, "Oh, he's not in." Okay, really? Yes, he's gone on a trip with work, a vet convention. So okay. Smell BS on that one, but whatever. So they go to see Gogolek about the basketball net hoop thing. And Gogolek literally looks through his manual for all of, 2 seconds? And he's like, yep, it's definitely not allowed. So this guy clearly just calling the shots, barely looks at his book. Yeah. And Mulder's just like, this is where Mulder's like, kind of, he's getting a bit suspicious. He's like, something's definitely off here. Yeah. It's like, the fact that they're this bent out of shape over a basketball hoop is, a bit untoward, shall we say. So, they have dinner with the Shoulders. Mulder mocks Scully and calls Wynne a liar, essentially. Basically just calls him out. Scully goes with the wife to help walk the dog, and Scruffy disappears down the sewer, pointing Scully to Mike's necklace. When Scruffy returns, Scully wipes his face with a tissue.
It's just like a typical sequence throughout. Get some more information, get a feeling. But previous to that, there's a little bit of fun interplay at the table where Mulder's like, oh, she's into aliens. Isn't she silly? just throwing Scully under the bus. Yeah, just
she likes crystals and all. It's like he wants to just put all of what he gets usually onto her, and then sit
Yeah.
back and just enjoy it. It's that I can actually pretend to not be myself for a while. So if I'm going to pretend to not be myself for a while, I'm going to make Scully be me.
Yeah. Or I'm just so bored, I'm just going to mess with her. Just
Yeah,
it's
pretty
fun.
much. So, and we've seen this behaviour from Mulder before as well. When he just, when somebody like is, you can clearly tell that they're BSing, and Mulder just flat out comes out and essentially, he don't like literally go, "You're a liar," but he says it in such a way that he may as well just say, "You're a liar."
Yeah.
And it's that's just Mulder all over.
That's just Mulder.
Mulder and Scully discuss the day. Scully puts mud on her face and complains about the toothpaste, just like a married couple. Mulder invites her to bed, but the thrill is gone. So it's just a nice little kind of, this is a look at like what would usually be like 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line in marriage, where, she's wearing a mud pack on the face, so clearly no sex tonight. He's moaning about the toothpaste and how he's squeezed it incorrectly to her satisfaction.
Yeah. It's just funny. It's the interplay's hilarious.
Yeah, Mulder patting the bed. Hey. Yeah, so the thrill is gone, he says. Then this is where Mulder just goes full on antagonistic. Because he gets a pink flamingo. He gets his.
Yeah.
Just comes out, puts this tacky looking Blackpool kind of gift shop pink flamingo, and he just sticks it in his front garden. And then it disappears.
Yes, like incredibly quickly. Like
it's almost because everyone at the moment is watching their house, and it's like the moment they saw him, the moment they saw him coming out that thing, they're like, "I gotta get out and do something." So, he goes to the kitchen, makes something, does whatever, comes back out. Pink flamingo is gone. So Mulder trashes his mailbox. He thought, all right, I'm going to take my pink flamingo, I'm going to trash my mailbox.
Yeah.
And then is it Shoulder who says it? I think it is. He just says, "Be like the others."
No,
before it gets dark.
They fix the mailbox and there's a note in it saying,
"Oh,
be like."
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So,
but you're moving past the best part of this episode, Brian. The best part of it. Mulder
is that where he's
sitting
trying to pee?
Watching, when he considers peeing in the orange carton. You see him open it up, and the thought process of just like, can I? Should I? Dare I?
Yeah, and then you see the fact that his front door is mostly made of glass, and you're just like, no, dude, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so he goes off and does it the old-fashioned way. He uses the toilet, and then when he comes back, his mailbox has been put right. So that's when he decides it's time for a game of midnight basketball. He's just, he's taking no prisoners on this one. The shoulders try to convince Mulder to stop. This is both of them this time. Cammy comes face to face with the creature. So, they think that it's going to go for Mulder because he's out playing basketball, but it in fact comes for Cammy. So she screams. Both gents kind of run over the hill to go and get to her. And it's then that it disappears, and they spot that their light bulb is out. So the same light bulb trick that was pulled on Mike has been pulled on them, which is the only reason I think that Mulder has been spared. But
why did the wife get away? Why did she?
This is my but. But why is it did this monster, this efficient killing machine, who has taken down entire families and took down Big Mike with relative ease the night before or several nights before, why is he suddenly complete? Or it? Why is it? For the pronoun crowd, why is they suddenly so ineffectual at killing down this 5'3" woman?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but seemingly it is.
Yeah, it was the big thing that kind of hung over this episode for me.
Yeah. It's definitely the thing that goes, oh, that's a bit okay. So as this is all playing out, we see that the basketball hoop is being dragged back into the garage. Scully returns home with some files. She hears a noise and calls to Mulder, thinking it's him. But when he doesn't answer back, she goes to investigate. Mulder is still outside, however, and finds a tunnel under the turf. Like, lifts the turf up because it looks kind of hollow, and he finds that it's hollow. There's a tunnel under there. Scully moves downstairs and into like a basement kind of compartment, and that's when Mulder enters, obviously through the garage, and that's when he says, "This is an X-file."
Yes.
So yeah, Mulder's seen a monster. Now he's thoroughly excited.
Oh yeah.
Thoroughly excited. So Wynn, who is Wynn's shoulder. I'm still calling him Shoulder. I have no idea if that's his name, but Wynn accuses Gogolek of being the one behind the bulb, as it was Gogolek, obviously, who'd suggested the bulb idea in the first place with Mike. So Wynn accuses Gogolek, but Gogolek says it was Mulder who removed Wynn's bulb. Don't you see? He's trying to divide the community. It's like, yeah, all right, buying that one.
Yeah. No. Like, everything about Gogolek is one dimensional. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no surprises. Like, straight away, you're like, it's him. It is all him. And he does nothing.
He's a pantomime villain.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's fine, as long as you do enough work with the other characters, because we're not really focusing on Gogolek all that much.
No,
he's just there. We know he's a presence. We know he's the reason for this, but we don't really need any, interaction with him all that much. So Mulder shows Scully the turf. Scully says she has a different theory, but then doesn't give one.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, what you have are some facts that you give to Mulder, but that doesn't really give us a theory as such. Still waiting on your theory, Scully. So yeah, she doesn't have a theory so much as an identification of the blood they found, in inverted commas. The whole site that this gated community was built on is landfill. And Mulder thinks the missing bodies will be underneath them. For no apparent reason other than
bored.
Just reasons. Yeah, just bored. One reason is as good as any. Yeah.
Let's see you fix this. Bring in the diggers.
It's like, if this was an 80s movie, it'd be like, this whole thing was made on an ancient Indian burial ground. And then boom, you've got your theory right there. But there's no theory offered from Scully, from what I can tell. It's just like, okay, whatever. Let's landfill. Groovy. But I mean, presumably she's saying that the muck that is on the ceiling wasn't blood. It was muck, and that's because we're on a landfill. But that's hardly a theory for how the muck got onto the ceiling of what was an otherwise spotless house.
Yeah.
Like if it was on the floor, on the carpets, yeah, that, that's a theory. But it was on the ceiling. So where's your theory as to how this got on the ceiling, Scully? Still waiting. But anyway, they do an excavation, a very small excavation, which isn't really an excavation. It's actually they're building a pool. To which the neighbour is rather angered by this. You can't build a pool. It's actually, Mulder's been up all night reading the manual. Yeah. what rules? How can I bend this? Actually, it's a reflecting pool, and that is not frowned upon in the manual. So yeah.
What I like here is when they're digging and everybody's there. Like he's like, I'm building a pool, and one woman is so just incredulous. She's like, in the front. just that little like woman's reaction was priceless for me. I was like, killing myself.
Mulder finds the wind toy. This is the wind toy from the beginning, in the ground, and that's when he looks at it and then he says "Gogolek," and I'm like, because
it's got the label of his business on the bottom of it.
Right. Okay.
Because he said he was in imports and blah blah blah. And
yeah, no, but it seems to me like if anybody wanted to frame Gogolek, it's a bit of a red herring. It'd be like, someone's trying to frame Gogolek, and that would have actually been a nice twist.
Yeah, but this episode's not that clever. This is just like baseline. Yeah.
Everything going for the laughs. Yeah, it's going for the Mulder Scully relationship dynamic stuff, but but he instantly jumps to Gogolek because of the import export company logo, which to me personally is a bit of a stupid thing for Gogolek to have sent that thing from his own stash, his own company. He tells Scully to call for a proper excavation, and that's when a hand begins to rise from the mud. Bum, bum, bum.
I wonder what it could be.
Scully hears thudding steps. Then Mike, still alive, he wasn't killed to death.
Now that's a surprise.
That is a surprise. That is definitely a surprise. He grabs her from behind and tells her about the Ubermensch, how the original owners created it. He locks her in the closet and is killed by the monster. This is also known in mythology as a tulpa. So there's something in, I can't remember where it's from, but it's called a tulpa, where...
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I think we've already had something, actually. I think there was an episode. It was about the Jewish community, wasn't it? And they'd created...
Yeah, that was a golem.
Yeah, kind of a tulpa golem type creature, yeah. So, So, she gets told about the Ubermensch and how the original owners created it. He locks her in the closet and is killed. This time he's actually killed by the monster. The monster's all like, dude, I thought I killed you once already. And this time he's going to make damn well sure that he does the job. So Mulder arrests Gene, Gogolek, and ties him to the digger that's outside. And the moment that he handcuffs him to this thing, you know exactly what's going to happen with him. Tulpa rocks up, kills him, boom, there you go. So we see the door open. This is before Gogolek gets killed. Mulder sees the door open, and he goes in after handcuffing Gene. And we did get a little scene, didn't we? Actually, we got a scene with Gene and Mulder, and I think that's when they talk about the tulpa. So that's what Mike is calling the Ubermensch, otherwise known as Superman. This conversation here, because Gene went to these like out of the way kind of foreign lands and brought back all this mystical kind of mumbo jumbo about tulpas and stuff, and that was Mulder's theory and stuff. And Gene says the only sensible thing, which is, please feel free to arrest me for this because you're going to look like a nutter in court.
Which I like. I like the bad guys turning and just be like, good luck with this one.
Yeah. Good luck with that. You pursue that. All the best. So Mulder goes in to the house after handcuffing Gene, and then Wynn sees Gene. Wynn and his wife, Cammy, was it? Cammy?
Something like that.
They see Gene handcuffed. And then Mulder gets upstairs, and I really like this. This is very subtle, good performance from David Duchovny, I would say. But if you look at his face when he enters that room, and it's literally a massacre. It's absolute carnage. Now he doesn't know that Mike has come back. He doesn't know that that's Mike who's been killed. So as far as he's concerned, that is Scully that is just sprayed all over that room. And you see it on his face. There's just this absolute look of horror on Mulder's face. And it's subtle enough for it to register as shock. You know, that instant shock that someone goes into. I just thought that was a nice little moment. It's really well handled. Like, he didn't just go in there with a gun like, Scully, because there's no way you could go in that room and ignore the horror that is just all around there. So it was just really nicely played. It quickly turns to relief, of course, when he hears Scully kind of shouting to him. Outside, Gene tells Wynn and Cammy to help him. But Wynn's wife says, screw that guy, basically. And they just walk off. Yeah. It's like,
but I really like that sequence. There's from something that's so basic, the episode does kind of like basic X-Files. There's a kind of moral quandary to this. These people who've been living in fear, what decision do you choose? Do you choose compassion and to help someone who's been oppressive to you? Or do you turn your back and allow them to die? Because that's what they're doing. They've made a choice. Help them or kill them.
I also find it interesting that choice comes primarily from the wife. Because if you look, like you said, this is kind of a Stepford Wives type environment. It's like where you come in, it's just off. And I'm pretty sure those allusions to Stepford Wives are fully intentional, and just it is a commentary to some degree on suburbia. In this, again, the same way that American Beauty was, where everything looks pretty on the surface, but as the tagline for American Beauty says, look closer. In other words, look what's going on underneath. There's a dark underbelly, and that's essentially what the commentary on suburbia here is. It's it looks pretty on the top, but underneath not so much.
Trash.
Those literal trash. Yes. And it's I mean, that metaphor may be heavy-handed, but whatever, it's still there. It's still saying something. But I also think that this scene here is alluding to the fact that in that idea of what the perfect suburbia or suburban life looks like, the man goes out, earns the wage, the woman stays at home, carries on looking pretty whilst making the meals for when her husband returns home, while he, so she can give him his slippers and the newspaper. It's Mad Men kind of vibe. So because all of that is really tied up into the iconography of suburbia, or certainly the kind of suburbia that's portrayed here, I just find it interesting that it's the wife who says, essentially, no, screw that guy. Come on. And then the husband follows. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. But Mulder and Scully hear Jean screaming from outside. Mulder runs outside to see the tulpa attacking Jean. It comes for Mulder, but as Jean dies, so does the creature. Because obviously the one who created it is the one who, it's the only way you can stop it. Kill the one who created it. I like that they don't tell you that. It's all said in the visual.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a really nice way. Like, we could have had a scene, in which Mulder presses Jean and is like, how do we stop this thing? And it's like, you have to kill the person who, we could have had all that nonsense, but we don't. It's all spelled out in that scene visually. Show, don't tell. I think they do a really good job of doing that. So, yeah. We get one final scene with Mulder and Scully leaving. They've packed up. They're leaving. We get a voiceover from Scully talking about the code of silence that is still in effect at The Falls, which is the name of the place. And it has just been named Place to Live for its 6th year running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which says something about the community and how, no, actually, now that we've gotten rid of this kind of this man who created this thing, we want to keep our streak, we want to keep our record, we want to go back to being, suburbia at its best, at its finest. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just wrap this up. Arcadia it's basic X-Files. It's almost X-Files by the numbers, It's not surprising in its storyline, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad episode. Like, it does everything well. The interplay between Mulder and Scully is really kind of fun. The oddball characters that populate this world are kind of fun and interesting in their own way. The monster's weird, but we don't focus too much on the monster or the creator of the monster either. It's all about this commentary on American suburbia at this time and the new communities that were springing up. And I think it does everything well. It's not a standout episode, but it's fun and it's carefree and it's easy to watch and it's entertaining. I think I would give it, and I probably feel like I should go higher than this, but I feel like this is its levels a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's what I give it. That's what I wrote down. 4 out of 5. I just there's some inconsistencies here. Like if this was a serious episode, and it's not out and out comedy or anything like that, but if it was like a full on dark serious episode, then there are certain things that happen in it that would be a bit less forgivable. The whole thing with Cammy surviving, but I feel like it overcomes those annoyances by simply being, as you say, entertaining. Seeing Mulder in particular just having fun and using this case to just let loose a bit it's entertaining. So it's nothing more than that, but it's certainly one I could rewatch quite easily. 4 out of 5 from me.
Okay, tell me a little about episode 16, Alphas.
I don't think this is going to be a good episode. I've not seen it that much, which suggests I had a reason to not watch it that much. Okay. I remember dogs. I remember this could be the season 6 version of Teso dos Bichos. Remember the one with the cats? Yeah. So we had the one with the cats.
That's the one you said is the worst ever episode of the X-Files?
No, that was El Mundo Gira.
Gira.
So Teso dos Bichos is the one cats. From with that, and you just found it hilarious at the end, but like I think it was like I think Teso dos Bichos is the one that fans on IMDb literally ranked the worst ever. So we came to it, and I think we both gave it like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, because
we were just like, like, yeah, it's not great, but like, worst ever? Seriously? Even worse than Space? Come on. I mean, at least it's not boring. It's bad, but it's
Yep.
not boring. But yeah, I think Alpha is. Again, I could be totally wrong because I remember practically nothing about this except for dogs, whether they were wild dogs or dogs that have been tested on, or I can't remember. But I'm getting a serious Teso dos Bichos vibe from it, only with dogs.
Yeah, that does sound a bit rough. But we'll find out next week as we watch. Sorry, just laughing at my crappy joke there. We'll find out next week as we discuss alphas. Hopefully you'll join us there. Don't forget to like on YouTube or give us a review or mark us 5 stars on whatever podcast service you listen to us on, because it really helps other people discover our love for the X-Files. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.